On December 26, 2024, while the whole world was discussing the crash of an Azerbaijan Airlines passenger jet in the Kazakh city of Aktau, Russian radars and tracking devices detected the launch of enemy air-to-air missiles over the southern part of Ukraine. Later it turned out that these missiles were launched by 12 warplanes of the Ukrainian Air Force. It is reliably known that several American F-16 fighter jets were also among these combat planes. In this regard, the air alert was announced in several Russian regions. In particular, independent monitoring services reported an air alert in the Zaporizhia, Kherson, Krasnodar, Oryol, and Rostov regions, as well as in the Lugansk and Donetsk People's Republics. Simultaneously with this, the Russian authorities temporarily closed almost all airports in the Central Federal District, including in cities such as Kaluga and Moscow. According to the Kremlin, this is done because Ukrainian drones deliberately attack civilian airports and passenger airliners. Later, on the morning of December 27, the first details of the attack on Russian regions by 12 combat planes began to appear in the information space. In particular, the committee chairman of the Public Chamber of the Russian Federation, Vladimir Rogov, officially stated that on December 26, 2024, during an attempt to launch missile strikes on Russian regions, the Ukrainian Air Force lost one F-16 fighter jet. Vladimir Rogov noted that this American fighter jet was destroyed over the Zaporizhia region. At the same time, the committee chairman of the Public Chamber of the Russian Federation did not specify exactly how the American fighter jet was destroyed. Moreover, this information was also confirmed by the Ukrainian Telegram channels. In particular, they stated that yesterday, during a combat sortie, the Ukrainian Air Force lost at least one F-16. It is worth noting that American journalists also raised this topic during the Pentagon briefing. The journalists asked a U.S. Department of Defense representative to comment on the downed F-16 Fighting Falcon information. In response, a Pentagon spokesman said that the United States had no information on this matter, and advised reporters to wait for an official statement from the Minister of Defense of Ukraine. Meanwhile, a number of reputable Russian Telegram channels, citing their own sources in the Russian Defense Ministry, stated that on December 26, an American F-16 was destroyed by the latest Russian Su-57M fighter jet, equipped with a new generation flat nozzle engine AL-51F1. According to them, the destruction of the American F-16 occurred northeast of the city of Zaporizhia, at the very moment when this fighter jet was trying to launch the Franco-British Storm Shadow cruise missiles. It is reported that to destroy the American fighter jet, the pilot of the Russian Su-57M used the world's longest-range aircraft missile Su-37M, capable of hitting targets at a distance of more than 300 kilometers. The destruction of an American fighter jet in the skies over Zaporizhia was also confirmed by the authoritative edition of the Eurasian Times. Moreover, experts and analysts of this publication also stated that thanks to the activities of a network of Russian agents in Ukraine, Moscow has collected quite extensive and valuable information about the location of all American fighter jets in Ukraine. Experts from the Eurasian Times claim that as of December 2024, Russians know not only the exact location of the American fighter jets, but also the location of the remaining Ukrainian and Western air defense systems. By the way, this information was also confirmed by an authoritative military expert and retired colonel, Anatoly Matvichuk. In particular, he said that thanks to valuable information received from Russian agents, on December 20, 2024, during a massive missile attack on Ukraine, the Russian military managed to destroy another American F-16 fighter jet, this time in the vicinity of the Borispol airfield. Thus, within 1 week, Russia managed to destroy 2 American F-16 fighters. According to Aviation Major General, honored pilot of the Russian Federation, Vladimir Popov, the destruction of 4 F-16 fighter jets has been confirmed from the beginning of the hostilities in Ukraine. At the same time, he admitted that this figure is significantly underestimated, and that the Ukrainian Air Force lost a lot more American fighter jets. According to him, the systematic destruction of American combat planes in Ukraine is due to 3 factors: targeted Russian missile strikes, the work of Russian air defense systems, and combat sorties of the latest Russian 5th-generation Su-57 fighter jets. Major General Vladimir Popov noted that the transfer of F-16 fighters to Ukraine was the biggest strategic mistake of the United States. The conflict in Ukraine has shown the world the vulnerability of American fighters to modern Russian air defense systems and combat planes. And this became a real reputational blow to the United States. For decades, the Americans have successfully used their fighter jets against deliberately weak rivals. However, the conflict in Ukraine has shown the whole world that Western military equipment has no chance against a modern and professional army, Major General Vladimir Popov said. Famous Ukrainian journalist Anatoly Sherry also commented on the destruction of an American F-16 in the skies over Zaporizhia. In particular, he said that American F-16 fighters turned out to be helpless not only against Russian air defense systems and Su-57 fighter jets, but also cruise missiles. According to him, during the entire period of the participation of F-16 fighters in combat operations in Ukraine, these American warplanes failed to shoot down even one Russian cruise missile. Anatoly Sherry notes that American fighter jets rarely fly combat missions. According to the Ukrainian journalist, American fighter jets are not involved in offensive operations, but are used exclusively for defensive purposes, which is a humiliating factor for the entire West. By the way, after yesterday's destruction of the F-16, Belgium refused to transfer to Ukraine the promised 30 units of these American fighter jets. Let me remind you that earlier, Belgian Defense Minister Ludovine de Donder promised that Brussels would transfer the first batch of combat planes, consisting of 15 units of F-16 fighters to Ukraine, by the end of this year. However, official Brussels has now announced that the transfer of the F-16 fighter jets to Kiev has been postponed indefinitely.